Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin, I would like to ask you a question. Have you ever had something that is just the very same when it comes to your breakfast every day? How does that make you feel? Uninterested? Tedious? Or even low appetite? Well, those feelings are valid. Why? Because who wants to put the same thing or it's the same thing every day, every morning, right? But did you actually know that there are some of us, especially our people, who are actually in a very similar situation? We're in no power to reject whatever we got, even though it hurts us, even though it puts us in such place where we feel suffocating, where we feel emotional and physical distress. It makes me feel like we're in a trap. We know there are a lot of things that we can do, but we just don't realize it. So what is it? I'll tell you what it is. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Reihan Ananta Noor Baihaqi, and I'm from Universitas Airlangga, and I will be elated to be talking to you about why your voice matters. In the perspective of your voice can change the world. So, what is it? What is it about the world that we have to change? What is it that is just so bad that we have to alter it? I thought this entire time we have been living in such a tender territory. Well, ladies and gentlemen, disheartening news are spread like sand in a desert. It's scattered. It is actually all around the corner. For example, approximately 249 health workers are forced to be made redundant by our regent. They were in a rebellion for something that is just so rational and yet so hard to get, which is fairly paid. Am I right? That reason is actually a very rational reason, even deserving for them to get it. But it is still not enough to soften the stone of heart that our regent possesses. So what can we do about it? What is it that we have to do so it will bring us to the new era of peace and prosperity? Well, there's one thing that you can do that is very simple. Would you take me as a jester if I tell you that the magnum opus that can take these people to a whole new world is actually nothing but the air at the tip of your lips, which is your voice. Yes, free speech has been used by the common folk for centuries to initiate changes in social norms and the way that people act within the society. For an example, women can vote right now for people they believe in, which is something not so common if you look back in the 19th century, right? To a greater extent, these women are out, I would say, in the same level when it comes to pursuing education as men, right? Because if it weren't for our historical figures who fought for that. Now, let's take our scope a little wider, shall we? Let's go for a little trip to West Asia, where there would be a country named Palestine. In this place, especially, men, women, child, even little children are brutally jeopardized. How it is so common for people to do that and not feeling something, not even the slightest in their heart. This cruelty that has been going on for God knows how long, that needs to stop right now. But what can we do? The one thing that we can do is to use the magnum opus, the voice of the people. The first thing that you need to do is to raise awareness of what has been going on and how this affects those people, because to feel secured in those territory is like a clutch of gold that is so expensive, it's so rare to the point it costs an arm and a leg. Literally, no pun intended. Right? Do you really think Martin Luther King Jr. would be as remarkable as he is if he was so quiet during his speech? Would Harriet Tubman be as magnificent as she is if she was afraid to use her voice? All these historical figures have one thing in common. They're brave enough to voice what they think is true, because their voice matters. And so is your voice. Our voices matter, because could you imagine a united nation, 1 million of people united under one true want, which is to be free, to liberation. To overrule a dynasty of a tyrant would be as easy as a blink of an eye. Ladies and gentlemen, all things come to an end, and so will my speech, so I would like to conclude it. No matter how small your voice is, it is not an Achilles heel, because no matter how small a bacteria is, it could still make the brightest bioluminescent in this entire world. Thank you very much for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.